Yes, so welcome everyone to this Froggy Friday session. Today we are so privileged to be the ones hosting this service today. We being myself, Patrick, James, Rehema, Christopher, and myself. So the theme of the day is growth and expansion. And so without much further ado, I would like to start by inviting Patrick to give us an invocation. And then immediately after invocation, our very able Nancy will sing us in to the meditative song. And after Patrick's invocation, we'll just sit in that meditative space. And then I will lead you into the meditation. So Patrick, take it away.
Yes. And as we take deep breath, let's center ourselves and bring my awareness and feel the presence of this one spirit, the presence of love, the presence of wisdom, the presence of peace. That is God. His presence is with us, is everywhere. And as we sit here, the beginning of this Froggy Friday, very special Froggy Friday, we invite ourselves to allow and to wallow in this consciousness, in this connection of love, connection of learning, connection of peace. And as we know that it is our nature to learn and grow and become better at each moment as we seek further deepening of our connection with the Spirit, we sit here and learn and understand what's coming. And I'm so grateful for this. And I invite all of us to sit in as we usher in ourselves into this sea of love. And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
And so it is.
I am opening.
I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am.
And as we sit still and know that I am God, we sit in this special moment in love, in joy, and in gratitude. We are so grateful for being here, being so grateful for being ourselves, for being authentic. And as we acknowledge our blessings, let us just take a deep breath in and exhale and continue taking the breaths of gratitude as we sink in this meditative space, knowing that gratitude is a powerful emotion that always shifts us from focusing on what we lack to focusing on what we have. And right here, right now, we are grateful because we have each other, grateful for our individual selves. Each of us expressing themselves individually, magnificently, as an expression of that I am. As we sit still, we feel the natural rhythm of our breath as we remain gratitude, as we remain grateful, we sit in gratitude. And we take a moment to appreciate the simple acts of our lives, the simple things that we usually take for granted. Like the very breath that you are taking right now, the breath of gratitude, and the presence of God, and the presence of who we are authentically. As we sit in this moment, we are grateful for each other, to each other as ourselves. And I invite you to sit in gratitude for a few minutes as we remember exactly who we are, magnificent expressions of the one true I am. And as we continue to sit in gratitude, to take the very breath, we are grateful. We're grateful for being here. And I invite each and everyone to bring your awareness back to this Froggy Friday meeting. As we continue to share, as we continue to be joyful, to be peaceful, and to be the presence of love in our own spaces. When you're ready, you can open your eyes as we continue with this meeting. Thank you and namaste. Thank you so much. And now I invite Mr. James Otumba to lead us with our song, We Are One People.
Thank you, Philip. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another, born to love each other. When it is all said and done, we are one.
We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another, born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. When it's all said and done,
we
we
are
are
one.
one. Yeah, thank you so much for singing and unmuting. So now, today we have a topic here with us, and the theme is growth and expansion. We are sharing about how we've grown since we started this teaching, or since we started the practitioner classes, mainly in the past three years. It's been a journey, and without further ado, I will start with inviting the wise one, Mr. Patrick Ngogi, to share with us his wisdom and his growth, and how he has experienced this growth and expansion in his life. So thank you very much and welcome, Patrick.
Thank you, Philip. It's true. Saying something that has happened for about 4 years in 5 minutes is quite challenging. But since I was kind of prepared to say something else, I'll just speak very briefly about growth as far as my connection with CSL Kenya. But then in general, I was preparing to speak generally about growth, expansion, because that's what was the theme of our Froggy Friday today. And we know that since what the scientists call the Big Bang, because scientists' Bible says in the beginning there was a Big Bang, everything has been expanding. Everything has been expanding, exploding. And they say it goes to a very, very high speeds where planets and everything is kind of hurling across the universe as it expands. But then that's the nature of life, to expand, to grow. And we know that when you don't grow, you are dead. Nothing happening in your life. And so growth must be there. And as we know, those of us who have read this thing called you, there is that urge, an urge within each one of us to do something new, to grow. And this urge, the same urge that makes the universe explode and expand, is the same urge that gives you desires, that makes you go or want to go to the next point. And so come 2020, and the way time fly, 2020 is suddenly 3 years ago. And 2020 also, they say, is a perfect vision. The people who deal with glasses, they talk about 2020, the perfect vision or something like that. But 2020 was a year when we had our first conference in Nairobi. And that's where when I and many others kind of discovered CSL Kenya and Science of Mind. And since then, we have seen a tremendous growth, because 2020 for us, or for many people, was the seed that was being planted. But this seed had been planted much earlier, when the founder of CSL Kenya, Connie, got the call to come to Africa, and then the seed was planted. But then having a seed is not enough. A seed has to be planted. You put a seed in the cupboard or in a box, nothing happens. While the potential of that seed remains there, meaning you have to take some action in order for you to see the potential come out. That single seed of any tree, we know has at least one tree within it, because the seed for that tree when it grows, it will have many seasons, each season producing hundreds and hundreds of fruits. Each fruit will have a tree inside. Each tree will have many seeds and many seasons. That's what growth is all about. If you sit on your seed, it doesn't grow. And I think 2020, which is now suddenly 3.5 years ago, was a seed that was planted, and a seed that actually germinated, because after that, we have seen so many new members. I may not have the exact number, but we have seen leaps and bounds of growth of CSL Kenya. And personal growth, like for myself, since I can speak about myself, only 3 years ago, I was just a new member of CSL Kenya. Now, if I may use the word, I'm a proud practitioner of Science of Mind. That is growth. And I'm not alone. 1 or 2 of us here in this room did not know about what Science of Mind is all about. And he's here with me today being a practitioner. That is growth. And we don't think, at least I don't think we stop here. Growth of any seed, when it sprouts, is just the beginning. And it's a beginning of very many other seeds that are going to come. And if well planted, we are going to have a forest of beautiful, beautiful trees. And many trees or many plants can make a beautiful garden. And that's what we are looking forward as we go towards 2024 conference, which is just about 6 months away. And we are really excited, because at that time is when we will be celebrating the growth of CSL Kenya. And very soon, some of us are ready to go out to other places, maybe other countries, and take this knowledge, plant more seeds, because that's what we are called to do. So 2024, here we come, and we invite you, all of you, to be part of this great harvest and planting of the next seeds. And that is my presentation for today. And I think since Christopher, whom I was supposed to call, is not able to present because he's been unwell, I take it back to Philip so that he can take us to the next level. So thank you very much.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for that presentation. And that is why we call you the wise one. I'm standing in for Christopher because he has been in hospital. And so for me, what Patrick had just shared, I'm reminded of this saying that when you plant a seed, one seed, it won't give you one seed. It will give you numerous. A maize seed will give you a whole cob. And that is how, when our founder, Reverend Connie, came, she started with a seed, a person, and that person invited others. And that is how we are continuing to plant seeds. I can speak for myself with the podcast, and also just sharing with others. But for me now, I'll share about my journey from my growth from 2020 August. I think it was 4th when I met Michelle and Reverend Gwen in the first discovery class, my first ever discovery class. I listened to them and I just noticed that they were talking about what I've been watching on YouTube and somewhere else, but this time it was structured. So being always a seeker, I decided to jump in, and that is when, in my first class, Science of Mind 101, I met Kelly, who was my teacher, and Reverend, I've forgotten the Reverend, pardon me. Yeah, so after that, I continued growing. But this journey has not been without, I can say projects. I don't like to say problems, I say projects. It has not been without projects. Sometimes the projects seem to stall, and sometimes there was so much resistance. I didn't want to do my homework. I didn't want to do things that I knew deep down in my heart were going to propel me to grow and expand further and further. And when it became hard, I remembered something from the book of 2 Kings, when the kings were going to battle and they didn't have any water, they didn't have any food. And that was the time when Elisha was still a new, can say practitioner, because Elijah had gone. Elisha was a practitioner, and they called him to tell them what God wanted for them, because God was the one who was going with, they were following Elijah, whose God was sending them to battle. And they did not like Elijah. So what happened was Elisha just told them, dig trenches in this valley. You won't hear the wind. You won't hear the rainfall, but you will find water. And true to what he said, when they woke up the following morning, they found water, they found food, and water for their camels, for their horses, and they didn't hear anything. So I was reminded during my struggles and my projects that even if we don't have, even if we don't see our future, even if we are unsure of where our help will come, deep down, there's always a friend in us. There's always that person, that power, that spirit that is always in us, for us, and through us. And so that is what propelled me into continuing with this project, continuing with this journey, knowing that I may not see the wind, I may not hear the water, but true to Spirit's word, I will always find my good everywhere. So thank you very much. That was my short presentation. And I now pass it on to Mr. James Otumba.
Thank you so much, Philip. In our group, that which touched us most was the idea of seed. As Patrick and Philip talk about the seed, I'm greatly reminded of my teacher's statement to the effect that we can always count the number of seeds in a fruit, but the number of fruits in a seed, in one single seed, cannot be counted because they are infinite. Mine was to say something about intellectual growth, that is intellectual curiosity and exploration, which has taken place in me and in us over the past 3 or 4 years, that we have actually been or made aware of this teaching. My presentation is entitled, Intellectual Curiosity and Exploration. And over those years, I came to have or to get new meanings to these terms. But I realized that, okay, thinking is a spiritual activity. It is tapping or identifying and working with the unchanging principles so as to be positive, creative, and backed by powerful intentions. To be positive means to be constantly on a life-affirming mission. Being creative means to be an open fount through which nature's expression freely flows. That an intelligent mind is one which is involved in the sacred art and act of directing the process of creation. It is the progressive formulation of different specific molds and directing therein the spirit, which is a form of energy, for transmutation into the physical equivalent. Intelligence enables one to live a life backed by powerful attention, intentions, and activities. That this mind is ever curious. It is constantly exploring the limitless and bounded world of imagination. Being sacred in that it uses the instruments of imagination, which is intellect combined with associated feelings, to keep balance and be in harmony with the principles of the originating source. One who is not overly dependent or reliant on past experiences is one given to study, reflection, and speculation. Civilization only progresses through this sacred art of thinking. Now we take note that in the past, the pace of change was comparatively very slow. The circle of life was very narrow and the same in that it was repetitive. The accuracy of the past predicting the future was very high. But in the last century or so, change has been changing at constantly increasing and astonishing rates. We have seen highly valuable information and job skills become desolate soon as they rise to surface. This has majorly been due to our mastery of the physical laws and its use in the manipulation of mechanical processes, resulting into huge physical convenience to man. But this has brought humanity, or human civilization rather, only this far. And as man increasingly becomes aware of the limitations of the wonders brought about by science and technology, he has evolved by means of this to be able to throw his eyes beyond the horizons, and he has seen the dawn of the new age, the dawn of spiritual laws, a new civilization, a civilization driven consciously by spiritual principles and not only mechanical rules. Though the sunshine of spiritual principles has always been shining bright to people all over generations, culture, and traditions, only a very few have ever gotten a glimpse of its rays by stepping out of their shadows. These are few have always carried the honor of mystics among us. It never occurred to humanity that the power manifest in them were immanent in each and all. With the rise of this originating sun of enlightenment to full orb, we saw its rays pierce through and over the horizons in the early 20th century in splendor and color. This was as a result of the intellectual activities of new thought movement pioneers. These rays have been rising higher and higher, and its warmth can now be felt in almost all corners of the globe through faith and philosophy of science of mind. And that has been given wings and propelled by the Center for Spiritual Living. Our intelligence must enable us to consciously evolve towards transforming our being, a being that we must become so as to participate in the emerging magnificence of the new civilization and for our full realization of our oneness with the One. A civilization brought about by the realization and conscious use of spiritual laws, which alone can free us from mechanical rules, which has dominated and sometimes held mankind hostage with very high walls of its limitations for far too long. Thank you and blessings ever.
Thank you so much, James, for that sharing. I now welcome Our Lady of Rehema to give us a speech, and yeah, so welcome. Take it away, Rehema.
Thank you, Philip. I'm happy to be here today, and I'll be talking about growth and expansion of our community, CSL Kenya. And this message is brought to you by Spirit in the form of one word, shape. That is in capital letters. I agree with the sentiments of both Philip and Patrick. You know, when they talk about Reverend Connie having been the seed, you know, that birthed most or all of us who are here, you know, into this wonderful, lovely community that we call CSL Kenya. And this community is you and me, you know, the fullness of joy, the fullness of love, and all the connections that we have today, and actually right here during this session. So the question that I've asked myself since I met Reverend Connie back in 2019 was, you know, and the question that we can ask ourselves as members of this community, CSL Kenya, is what is the shape of my unique contribution to the expansion of my community, you know, expansion of this community of ours. And for me, even as I was going through my own personal growth, the answer was not always clear because I was afraid, what will Spirit want me to do? But once I was courageous enough to say, you know what, bring it on. I have found a very heartwarming, lovely community. You know, the connection that I've found within this community, the joy that I've found in giving and supporting this community, and in saying yes to service, in, you know, getting to experience the people and the spaces that make up this community. And I found myself courageously showing up, you know, wanting to experience more and more and allowing life to unfold more and more. So in getting to discover the shape of our contribution to the CSL Kenya community, its expansion, what we can ask ourselves is, what are our spiritual gifts? And I'm just putting it out there. Maybe we need to have another sacred gifts class, you know, again, to find clarity on what our special gifts are. And, you know, in finding what our gifts are, we can, you know, we can be the leaders, we can be the teachers, the givers, the facilitators, those people that have been called to service. Because our gifts are the uniqueness of spirit that is expressed through each and every one of us. And these gifts are for the expansion of who we are and for the expansion of our community. And again, we ask ourselves, what are our heart passions? You know, with passion and feeling comes quicker realization. And when we let ourselves be what we love, we have a greater, more meaningful impact because we get to a place of non-resistance, and in that place of non-resistance, good follows us and also flows into our community. And then we ask ourselves, what are our abilities? You know, those natural talents and skills that we have. What if we use them for the growth of our members? What if we use them for the growth of, you know, our community? And we ask ourselves, what are our unique personalities? Because this can be a guide to each and every one of us on what we've been called to do, or where we've been called to be of service. There are those people who are creative. There are those people who are leaders. You know, all of us are a mix that can be, you know, a force when we come together and move the community forward. And lastly, what are our experiences? For our experiences are invaluable, for they form part of, you know, those visible results of our relationship with God in our personal lives, in the community, and in the world at large. And these experiences can be our gateway to, you know, to service for the growth of the community. So if there is one thing that you can carry with you today, know that you already all that you need is the seed of growth for the CSL community. And all you need to ask yourself is, what is my shape? You know, what are my spiritual gifts? What are my heart passions? What are my abilities and skills? What is my personality? And what is my experience? And then bring them to Spirit, and Spirit will multiply them for your growth and for the growth of the community. And as I finish, there's a saying we say, we are Africa, and Africa is our business. So in the same way, we are CSL Kenya, and CSL Kenya is our business, and it will look the way we desire it to look like. So let us shape it together as one, in oneness, in love, in joy, in connection, and let, you know, this be the ultimate demonstration of our belief for the CSL Kenya community. And because we are now the seeds that have been planted, you know, ready to sprout and grow. The baton has been passed to me and you, and we are the repeat cycle of the process. You know, the same way Connie came, she was the seed, she planted the seed, and it has grown to all these faces that you can see here, all these faces that maybe, you know, are not at this session today, but the larger CSL Kenya community. Now it's our time to, you know, plant, grow, prosper, and we repeat. And as we seek nourishment in this community, let us courageously embrace the oneness of Spirit. For when we are together, Spirit unfolds as limitless possibilities of growth and expansion. So as we gather, as we connect, as we serve, as we support each other, let us all affirm, each one of us, that I am the shape of growth and expansion for my community. Thank you very much, and happy shaping.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I think we saved the best for last. And I am grateful for each and every one of us here, because our sacred gifts are our uniqueness, and our uniqueness is an individualization of God, each and every one of us. So I now invite questions. If there's anyone who has a question to any one of our participants, you can just ask away, and the floor is open. Yeah. I think if we don't have any question, then we can have affirmations then. We can have an affirmation on what we've just talked, 2 affirmations. So if you could all unmute and follow the sound of my voice and repeat after me, please. I grow and achieve my desires since life, love, and wisdom flow through me and for me.
I grow,
I grow and achieve my
my
desires.
Grow and achieve my desires.
life, love, and
life,
Love,
Love and
wisdom,
wisdom
love for me.
me and
Love
for me.
for me and for me.
I am the shape of growth and expansion for my community.
I am the shape
am the
shape
shape
And
of
for
growth
Growth
and
for my
expansion
community.
for my community.
and for my community.
And with that, now we can sing a song that is very close to us as newly licensed practitioners, because our light is still small and we want to shine it. So, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Ooh, spirit fingers. Thank you very much for singing along with me. And now it's time for our announcements. Our announcements. So our next, the visioning will be next Friday, which will be the 4th of August. Everyone is invited to join. And
sorry, Philip, it's actually the 11th.
No, the visioning is 4th, and then Froggy Friday is 11th.
Oh, vision. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
It's okay. Now I welcome Patrick to talk about power journaling. He and James have been taking the class. So Patrick, talk to us about, unmute and talk to us about power journaling.
Yeah, because I think because of shortage of time, I'll be very brief. But power journaling, I think many of us may know about journaling, but there's another type of journaling which is called power journaling. And in power journaling brings out the answers that you may be seeking for a long time, but they're not apparent. Because if I may use the word, the ego. So power journaling now allows you to go deeper and like allow the spirit to get the message directly. And we've been having this course. It's been going on for like 2 months now, or not 2 months, 3 years almost. And regular attendees have been James and a few others. But journaling, as we know, generally is you write your experiences, your desires, what you've been going through, what you're after, your emotions and so on. That's what normal journaling is all about. But in power journaling, it teaches you to go deeper so that you are able to learn more about yourself. And we have these, it comes once a month. If I'm not wrong, James, is usually 3rd Saturday of the month. And the current sessions will end in November. So you are not late. You can come in and learn what is there to be learned now, so that in the next year's, season or session, you'll be able to join from the beginning. But it's very enriching and it's quite powerful. And James and I, we and others, a few of those who have attended have learned a lot about ourselves and others. So I don't know whether James, you want to add anything, but I'm done.
Yeah, thank you very much, Patrick, for the concise explanation. Froggy Friday is now on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month. The 2nd and 4th Friday of every month. So our next Froggy Friday will be on the 11th of August, 2023. Yeah, so let's stop here. So if anyone, before we go into our offertory affirmations, if anyone who would like prayer, please just raise your hand so that we can pair you up with a practitioner. It's just 1 minute miracle. So if anyone of us who feels they may require prayer, yeah, please raise your hand. Your physical hand or virtual hand will get to, yeah. Flo has raised her hand. Michelle, are you on it, please?
Okay, I can do it.
Thank you so much. And also Muthoni.
Actually, I can't do it unless Gwen makes me co-host.
Okay,
Okay, doing it. I'm on it.
okay. Thank you very much for your graceful assistance. And as we continue, as we all know that our center, CSL Kenya, runs on donations solely. So if any one of you would like to donate to CSL Kenya, if you're in Kenya, you can contact Nancy and she will give you the M-Pesa number where to channel your contributions. And if you're in North America, you can visit www.cslkenya.org/support. That is www.cslkenya/support. And there you'll find all the ways you can support us. And the link is in the description. So you just have to click on the link. You don't have to search for it. And so now our offertory affirmations. Yeah, please unmute, all of you. You can unmute and repeat after me. I am filled with the energy of abundance.
I am with the energy of abundance.
I am willing to share my financial good with my spiritual community.
I am
I'm willing to share my financial goals with my spiritual community.
Yes, so thank you very much for this time. Thank you very much for taking your time and choosing to be here with us. This means a lot for all of us, the practitioner students and the teachers, Karen, Michelle, and Dr. Reverend Claire Summerhill. I just saw she's doctor in her name. Thank you so much. We are grateful and we live in awe every time that you choose to be with us. It is not taken for granted, and we are happy, ready to share our sacred gifts, and always grateful, knowing that each one of us is unique, and it is in our uniqueness that we came to be practitioners through our calling. And so thank you very much. And practitioners can remain behind so that until everyone has left. And with that, I pass the baton to Mr. James Otumba to give us our benediction and close us out. Thank you so much, and namaste.
And Philip, that was wonderful. It's been a wonderful service. Before we start, I do have the glorious announcement that our new practitioners actually can pray for you guys now. So you will be experiencing our new practitioners today, those of you that raised their hands.
Now, thank you so much. Thank you so much for those wonderful comments. Let's actually get to benediction. Let's be in the presence. And I'm so thankful for the divine presence in our meeting, for the oneness, for the energy of love that has bound us together, for the joy that in fact we have enjoyed, for the expansion out of the presentations given by our new practitioners, for the healing that in fact has taken place as a result of those of the messages. So grateful. And now I bless each and every one of us as we live and get into our individual lives, blessings and much more blessings. And together we say, and so it is.
Yes, it is.
And so it is. Go forth and shine your light.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Rahim, I have you in room 1, Patrick in room 2, Philip in room 3, and I think it was Flo, Kelly, and Mathoni who asked for prayer. Did I miss anyone? They're
Sorry,
all
I had to keep
gone, so we
leaving.
can talk about them now. Hi, sorry, Fred.
No, I said, sorry, I kept leaving, but the repairman was here. He's now fixed it, so it's all good.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, they're fixing mine.
You
Hello, can you
people
pop
have a
into the
wonderful
room?
week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Oh, did Mathoni go away, Philip? Philip is the only one needs to pop into room 3. Did you get popped out?
No, I left on my own volition because I had been notified that my screen was still recording, so I left. So
Oh, I can stop the recording.